is. Here, we can.
And we would supplement the rest of that with the cable fund surplus that exists in the special revenue fund. After that, on page 3, we're providing you a comparison of the FY15 budget to the FY14 budget, the change in dollar value, as well as percentage change, increase or decrease. So overall, commissioners, we have a $354,515,200 general fund budget. That's a $15,443,600 increase compared to the FY14 budget, and percentage-wise, that is a 4.6% increase. Below the revenues, we've provided you a list of all the expenditures associated with that budget. And at this time, I believe we are looking for you to approve this budget. Commissioner Kelly, there was one administrative matter that you had asked for earlier.
Yes.
Regarding the state's attorney. You had asked what the percentage increase was since your board took office, and that is 76%, but that includes that 3-year phase-in commitment that was committed to earlier.
So that's 76%, and we talked earlier today about the necessity for an internal performance audit for the Sheriff's Office, and because there was an increase of how much?
Well, the Sheriff's proposal would go, or the budget would go up 26% over that, 26.5% over that period of time.
It does seem that we're being selective in the audit, but
Since we're talking about percentages of increase, Board of Education, what's their increase been over the same period of time? Or am I putting you on the spot?
I believe when we looked at that, it was roughly 13%.
wow, 13%, 20, I think it was 9%, 76%. Okay, thank you for that information. I appreciate it. Okay, so commissioners, at this point in time, is there a motion to adopt ordinance number 2014-14 for the fiscal year 2015 general fund operating budget in the amount of $354,515,200, and to set the fiscal year 2015 real property tax rate at $1 and $1.141 per $100 of assessed value, and the fire and rescue real property tax rate at 0.064 per $100 of assessed value. I'm going to go right on through the list. And to set the personal property tax rate at $2.8525 per $100 of assessed value, and the fire and rescue business personal property tax rate at 0.16 per $100 of assessed value, and the semi-annual property tax payment option rate has been calculated to be 0.03%, and to set the fiscal year 2015 La Plata Town tax differential rate at 9.5 cents per $100 of assessable base, and the Indian Head Town differential rate at 4.1 cents per $100 of assessed value, and to set the 2015 income tax rate at 3.03%. So is there such a motion? Motion by Commissioner Collins. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Davis. Is there any discussion?
Brief discussion.
Commissioner Robbins?
I'm just going to repeat what I said during the work session today. We could have passed a budget that would not have required a tax increase, that could have adequately compensated our teachers, our sworn officers, our EMS personnel, our corrections officers, and especially our county staff. And I'm disappointed that we did not go down that road.
I too would like to say a few words. I'm terribly disappointed. I think we had an opportunity here today to do the right thing by the Board of Education and our teachers. I think we had an opportunity to really give the school system the tools it needs now that we're opening this phenomenal new school. I'm terribly disappointed that our correctional officers, I mean, it was there, it was possible, and there and you know, I believe it was reasonable and prudent and the right thing to do for our correctional officers and our county employees, as well as our civilian staff. But I think what is most disappointing to me, that as we are proud and boasting about a reduction in crime, that we have refused to include an increase for our sworn deputies. And so I cannot support this this general operating fund budget, and I'm, as I said again, terribly disappointed because I believe that an alternative was provided which would have resulted in no tax increases. So with that, are there any other comments?
Yeah, I'd like to say I support law enforcement teachers the entire time I've been in office. County government's got 1% pay increase, but I can't vote on a deficit of $11 million, which would be irresponsible right now.
And I'll just say again, I believe we closed that deficit and we were able to do that. But Commissioner Collins, you want to say something?
The proposal that was suggested that would close the deficit would put us in a significant hole going into the FY16 budget. And I think that part of the reason is to be prepared to responsibly move forward as we prepare for future budgets. And I think putting ourselves in a better position in recognizing what our actual expenses are, I think will bode well for us in the future and will allow a more reasonable approach to addressing issues associated with raising salaries, etc. And so I think that this is an attempt, certainly in recognition of the impact of what was proposed based on essentially revenue sources that were not necessarily continuing revenue sources, but were one-time revenue sources.
Well, the DRA fund is there and it's available to not fund the schools and to ask them to take that from their fund balance, in my view, is wrong. But all right, so call for the question. All in favor? Opposed? Opposed. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes
That's
our...
it. That means that they did not pass our budget. And therefore, ladies and gentlemen, I have never publicly chastised our public officials, but I am today. You heard them say, two of them know that there's enough money there for them to support the Board of Education. We try to teach our children that when you make a statement of something you're going to do, that you abide by it. We have jumped through hoops, we have bent over backwards and done everything that they ask us to do, this Board of Commissioners, the previous Board of Commissioners, to get this high school up and running. The previous board made us delay it because they value engineered it and changed the design of the building, which cost us money. But they put in writing a statement that they would give us the $10 million operating dollars to run that school. A new board came in. They begged us to delay it 1 year and because they couldn't afford it. But if they did, if we delayed it, they would give us the $10 million for operating costs. That was put in writing.
They also put it in writing.
That's right. It was in writing. And we listened. Except I think, Mrs. Abel, you were the only one that voted no because you didn't trust them. Was that correct?
I told you no, that
Yep,
I didn't trust
you
them.
did. You were right. You were absolutely right. And now the building is up and ready to go. And you just heard, I assume you could hear what was going on.
I
They
think my
did not give it to us.
exact words were, the last ones gave it to us in writing, and it wasn't worth the paper it was written on.
Absolutely. I'm ashamed. I'm ashamed of our county officials because they want a wonderful, wonderful school system so they can bring people and business and industry here. And then they pull a stunt like this. So I'm extremely disappointed. And I'm very disappointed in their staff, specifically Mr. Eichholz and County Administrator, Mr. Belton, because they sat over there this morning and told some lies to the county commissioners. So, I'm sorry. This is the way it's going to be. Anybody else want to say anything?
I would suggest that you vote in the upcoming primary and that you take many of these things into account, and you take this information home to your neighbors and friends, explain to them what has happened, and ask them to do a little research of their own between now and June 24th. And take a good, hard look at who voted for what over there and the county commissioners.
And who values education and who just gives it lip service.
I mean, they kept saying, what was it? I heard both Mr. Eichholz earlier, and I think Mr. Collins right now talking about non-recurring money, you know, that's what they're expecting us, one-time money to operate this school. That doesn't mean because we have a fund balance this year that we're going to have a fund balance next year. You run a household, you understand that some years your electricity bill is up higher than it is other times. We don't know what kind of a winter we'll have, and this is just ridiculous.
And it's also going to affect our future schools because the state has implied that if they did not support the operating costs, that it would impact future school construction.
It is very possible that we will lose state money over this for future buildings because our local government has chosen not to be respectful in the decisions that they make and keep their word.
I do want to thank Commissioner Kelly and Commissioner Robinson because they stood behind what they said they were going to do. So we probably are going to be opening the school on the backs of some of our other schools. The class sizes are probably going to end up going up. So
Stand by. Get ready.
Motion for adjournment.
So moved.
So moved.
Okay, those in favor?
Second.
Raise your hand. We're adjourned.